Hello everybody and welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you guys for joining me on my YouTube live. Bit of a double header today. Earlier this morning you guys got my June 2020 overview for the major astrological trends. Now I wanted to hop on and do some readings. I'm trying to be better about getting up here and helping you guys get more insight into what's going on. Those of you guys who might know me know that I focus on astrology. You may not know that I also read tarot, and I've been reading tarot for the better part of 14 years. It's a big part of my practice. All of my sessions are very unique. It's a combination of tarot, astrology, and what I see clairvoyantly. So I'm trying to be better about doing these videos where I can come on here live and see everybody and give you guys readings because I'm very busy. I'm usually booked anywhere from like 1 to 3 months out at a time. So hopefully I can start doing these like once or twice a month. So maybe you can't wait for a question. Maybe you can't quite afford an entire session or a reading with me. This is a great opportunity to get a single question answered. We're doing one card for $20, 3 cards for $40. Obviously, if you just want to hang out with us and you want to listen to me read, that's fine as well. We appreciate donations, but it is not necessary. For those of you guys who are not purchasing a reading today, or maybe you're just checking in just to get a vibe check, I am going to put out 3 separate cards, and that will be for a pick a card reading. So if you want to think about what your question is, I'll have you focus on one of 3 cards, and at the end of my live we will take a look at what the answer is to your question, and the card that you feel most drawn to is most likely going to be your answer. So hi everybody in the chat. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you guys. So we've got actually a couple of people who have already made a purchase. We've got Kristin and we've also got Rachel. Kristin got a 3-card spread. Rachel got a 1-card question. So I'm going to go through the chat, interact with you guys. Kristin, are you here? What is your question? I would love to know what I can give you more insight on. Let's see where Kristin is. Thank you for your donation. We appreciate it. Oh, it's okay. It's totally fine. I see you, Rachel. You sent it to the right one. Yeah, those of you guys who don't have Super Chat, take a look at the link below. You're going to see my PayPal. You can donate or you can purchase a 1 or 3 card reading right now. So take a look at the Super Chat in the chat. You can sign up there, or you can actually go and send it directly to my PayPal. I gotta check this, apologies, so that way I stay on the up and up with orders that are coming in. So let's get right into it. So Kristin, go ahead and send me your question while I do the pick a card reading, and let me know what you want insight into for the 3 cards. So this is the pick a card reading. Here we go. We're going to pick 3 different cards. You guys aren't going to see the cards until the end of the live, so just be aware of that. So this is going to be card number 1, number 2, and number 3. Whichever one you feel most drawn to. We will come back to this later in the live, so don't worry about that quite yet. But just whichever one you feel most drawn to, or you keep looking at it, or has the most vibes. So let's go ahead and get into it. Kristin was asking, will it be a good time to move by the end of the year for a change in job to the Bay Area in California? Where are you moving from? Where are you going from? Where are you going to? Specifically in the city of SF or in a surrounding area? Let's take a look. So let's see what the cards have to say. That one's active, huh? About a move. Thank you guys. Please be patient. We're going to take everybody in the order that we receive the payments. So don't worry, I will get to you. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Loretta. When it comes to your guys' turn, please let me know your question, okay? So the first card that we have that comes up for you Interesting. These are some majors. The first card that comes up for you, I guess I should do it this way. It's going to probably be a little bit better, huh? It's more in order. So card number 1, 7 of Swords, doubt, questioning whether or not it's a good move, wondering if it's a good idea to leave, wondering if you're going to miss something, if you're going to miss an opportunity, if you're going to miss a place, if you're going to leave something or someone behind. This can also be a situation where you're questioning or wondering whether or not you can trust yourself. Is it going to be a safe area? Is it going to be a safe move, literally or figuratively leaving? One thing I will tell you that I see coming from this move is a lot of healing. So the Star card coming up talking specifically about healing, being able to heal on an emotional basis, having a clean kind of like start, a fresh start, hitting the restart button. This can also be talking about like a total rebirth period, especially when it comes to your networking, when it comes to your friends and your associations. So be mindful that, you know, this move, it doesn't seem like it's just going to be good on a you know, professional level. It seems like it might be good on a very personal level, especially with the Justice card coming up. To me, that makes me feel like around the time September, October is going to be a better time to move. You want to take a look at what's going on in your horoscope. Also realize that the Justice card talks about balance. Is there an offer? Is there somebody else on the other side that's going to be able to receive you? Whether this is a relationship, a business partnership, somebody who's going to lend a helping hand, can be a Libra, can be an Aquarius. It's also possible that as a result of moving, you have renewal in these areas of your life. There may be a focus not just on your social life, but also on what's going on with your relationships, and that your relationships may give you an opportunity to meet new people, find that you have a lot more support. I'm seeing what you just said. So you just finished your MBA, healing makes sense. Okay, cool. Northern California, retiring and starting a new business. If that's the case, then yeah, I do think that you're going to have more support for this, but this is more about kind of socializing, and this is more about partnership and relationship. So if you are retiring and you're segueing and you want a new start, to me, it seems like these are going to be 2 focus areas. Make sure that you're looking in like a safe area. You want to really check out like the walkable store in score in the area that you're looking at or in the neighborhood that you're looking at. Also, like when it comes to moving and relocating, make sure that nothing gets left behind. Sometimes that comes up as an issue with this card, that whether it's not trusting yourself or not trusting the people who are moving your things, if you're going to pay movers to move stuff, or if you're going to have somebody who's going to go and scout a possible place for you to stay, make sure that these are trustworthy people being involved in your move and nothing's going to get broken, or you're not going to kind of get bamboozled when it comes to moving to a particular place. Thoroughly look through everything once you have unpacked. Make sure you didn't forget anything. But overall, yeah, I do think a move is a really good idea, especially, you know, like I said, the second half of the year. So we're looking at like September, October, November as being a better time. I do think this move is going to happen within 7 months, most likely before February of next year. I hope that was helpful and gave you insight into that. I'm seeing what everybody is saying. Let me check back in here. Thank you, Tina, Rachel, Tina Lynn, Elle. I see all of you guys. Thank you very much. We had another person who also got a reading. It looks like this was for Rachel O'Donnell. Hey, girl. How's it going? Rachel, what is your question? What can I give you insight into? Nice. I'm excited to look forward to being able to talk to you, KB. Looks like it's going to be a good move. When we chat, we'll give you all the perfect times for you to be able to make that transition. If Rachel's in the room, let me know. Let me know what I can give you insight into. And guys, if you do send something via PayPal, just let me know so I can check it. There she is. My question for one card: what does June hold for my love life? I've been pulled in a few different directions. It seems to be the reoccurring theme for the month, huh? June hasn't even started yet and it's off with a bang. So let's see what the cards have to say for Rachel and her love life. What do we need to be aware of for the month of June for Rachel? What is she going to be expecting? What's going on with her lovers? Oh, that card wants to come out. Page of Swords. Okay, so here's what I want you to pay attention to. For me, this is like there's a lot of conversations going on at one time, or there can be a multitude of messages that are coming in. There could be one person in particular that just keeps hitting you up, hitting you up, hitting you up, hitting you up, asking you over and over, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you up to? Do you want to get together? This is also the beginnings of conversations, communication, messages, text messages, emails. This can be dealing with an air sign. This can also be feeling like you want to cut through petty conversation. If somebody's just texting you and like you want to be like, okay, get to the point. Like, what do you want? Why am I hearing from you? Why are you reaching out to me? You want to be able to see if this is somebody who's just bored and they're looking to like reconnect or to connect in general and shoot the shit, or if this is somebody who's really trying to get to know you, right? One thing I'll also tell you is, you know, I feel like this is about being able to determine who is being genuine, or whether or not somebody has a genuine interest, whether or not somebody wants to actually take things to the next step. Page of Swords coming up is kind of the baby of all of like the family when it comes to the swords. The next progression would be the Knight of Swords. So I would say less talking, more action. Who's actually showing up? Who's actually making plans? And if this is the beginning process of getting to know somebody, I don't really recommend making a choice yet. I also don't recommend choosing any one particular person if you're being pulled in different directions. This is happening for a reason, because you're learning how to see the red flags. Maybe you're learning how to communicate with people. You're learning how to pay attention to their non-verbal communication and their follow-up, and whether or not there's somebody who is actually going to hang around. So really pay attention and look beyond the small talk this month. And I'd be interested to know if there's somebody who you either just started talking to or somebody who you're just starting to get to know. Okay, so let's move up the list. Okay, Tina, are you there? I see your message is retracted, but I do see your donation. I don't know if that donation was retracted or not. Let me look at that and see. It looks like Tina might have paid and then sent it back. Tina, let me know. I'm going to move on to Rachel, but I will come back to you. Rachel, love reading. Do I need to take more action and work on myself more, or leave it up to the universe and manifest a relationship right now? Thank you. Good question, Rachel. Good question. Let's take a look and see what the cards have to say. So taking action or leaving it up to the universe. Usually the answer is somewhere in between. Okay, so the first card that popped up was the Two of Cups, Five of Wands, the Magician. So it literally is somewhere in between. So here's the thing. To me, it seems like you're trying to make action happen, or maybe you've been focusing on partnership, you've been focusing on union. But really what the cards are saying is there's a need to get clarity. And before you make action, before you pursue somebody, there needs to be kind of like a grounding out of your manifestation. Ritualizing this is like a really good way to do that with the Magician. So when the Two of Cups comes up, it's about, you know, hey, do you want to go out to dinner? Hey, do you want to go and see a movie? Hey, do you want to go for a walk in the park? It's offering union to somebody, actually taking action. To me, it seems like either that's not working, or you're not getting the responses that you like, or maybe the people who are reaching out to you are not the people who you're interested in. So there's some confusion and some pushback that's going on with the Five of Wands. It's like you feel like every time you take a couple steps forward, you kind of get pushed back and you have to start over. This is also wondering, why is there resistance? Why is there so much resistance going on in my love life? Why am I not feeling like I'm making progress? Why are people not getting back to me? I don't know if that's something that you're feeling, Rachel, but you know, I do see a lot of pushback going on here. And it does kind of seem to me like there's a need to step back and like not actually pursue these people, or to change the method in which you go about meeting others, because something is not working right now. Now, the Magician is great because the Magician talks about being able to manifest. It's everything that happens in the ethers and how we ground it out into reality. So finding a way to integrate all of these different elements, especially fire and water, to set intentions revolving around what you do want to bring in. I always tell my clients, you need to be careful, because words and thoughts are spells in themselves. So when you sit down to really think about what you want to manifest, the Magician talks about how does it look, what does it feel like, what does the relationship seem like, what magic do you want to create and bring together. This is also kind of pushing against being able to focus on people who are already around. It seems like because there's so much static here and pushback, there's more of a focus and an emphasis on setting intentions for what you can bring in. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this on an eclipse. I would say maybe waiting until the second half of this next month of June would be a really good time for you to do that once we're out of the eclipse energy and we can actually start fresh and we can start new. Sometimes the Magician comes up also talking about Uranus. So it can be unconventional changes, somebody who's unconventional and very different than what you're used to going after. You might kind of have this realization that's like, I'm going after what I think I want, but what I think I want is not really what I need. So when you kind of ground that out and kind of take a step back and think more about being open to a different variety of people, different ages, from different places, maybe different backgrounds, maybe even somebody who has different interests than you, you'll find that actually finding something different is definitely the way to go. So hopefully that is helpful for your question about your dating and your love life. Uranus definitely is the universe, by the way. So the universe definitely has your back in this situation. And when you get very specific about what you need, maybe not necessarily what you thought you wanted, magic happens. All right. Okay, so Tina and Loretta. So Tina, okay, I see that you changed your order. So I'm going to go back to you. Thanks, Tina. What is your question? Do you mind me asking? Tina. Okay, I'm scrolling down. There we go. I changed the dollar amount. Should have had my donation. My question is, my relationship with my boyfriend is in a rough spot. Is it time to cut my losses and move on? What sign are you? What sign is your boyfriend, Tina? Do you mind me asking? Thank you for your donation. Dana Smith asked, are you Candace that used to be with the Peace Dealer? Yes, and I'm still with the Peace Dealer. Check out our Midheaven podcast. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. I'm glad that was helpful. Okay, Tina, I'm shuffling. I'm thinking about you and your, I'm going to assume boyfriend, not your best friend. Definitely a good time to be questioning this. A lot of relationships are kind of in limbo right now, and there's definitely a lot of support from the astrology and the cosmos to rework relationship dynamics and how we communicate with others. King of Cups, Queen of Wands, and Temperance. I'm a Sag, he's a Leo. You're definitely coming up with a Sag, Queen of Wands. I see healing here, but I also kind of feel like Temperance coming up with the Queen of Wands is definitely speaking to you being like, I gotta heal my stuff. This did originally come up reversed, so I spun it around so you can see it. But King of Cups was reversed, Queen of Wands, and Temperance. King of Cups reversed is somebody who emotionally is not opening up. It can be somebody who is not sharing their true feelings, their desires, not wanting to grow closer, not wanting to express his feelings, or acting out, coming out, acting in a way that's emotionally volatile. It can also be somebody who is dealing with like depression, sometimes not sleeping well, not taking care of themselves, drinking too much, smoking too much. Substances sometimes come up. If it's not substances, then it's definitely like a lack of emotional clarity and not really knowing what he wants and what he needs, and being emotionally immature. I hate to say that, but that definitely is emotional immaturity. And then we have you coming up as the Queen of Wands. So the Sag, the person who's like not taking somebody's shit. Queen of Wands is somebody who really kind of demands attention and demands fairness and passion and connection, and somebody who can get really fired up and really heated up about something that is not necessarily clear. Now, I don't know if you know this, but we're in the midst of a Mercury retrograde. It's in Gemini, which for Sagittarius that's your 7th house. So part of what I see right now is like less of a focus on where he's not behaving, less of a focus on what he's not doing right, less of a focus on him, bringing the energy back to you, working on healing you, giving yourself space, giving yourself time. Nothing here makes me feel like you guys are gonna actually split. It makes me feel like time is exactly what you need. I think that you're gonna see a little bit more that's gonna pan out closer to the eclipse time, when you have a better idea of where he stands with things and whether or not he's gonna communicate more effectively with you. Now, temperance is timing. It's allowing certain elements to come together. It can sometimes talk about right person, wrong time, or right time, and that person is not ready to step up to the plate. But when temperance comes up, upright, it's basically saying healing's going to happen. We're going to see everything kind of come together. There is a union. There is an ability for you guys to push through this, but there is a real need for him to be really aware of his emotional tendencies and his behavior. For Leos right now, Saturn's in Aquarius, and it's exactly 7 signs away from them, which means there are tests going on in relationships. I'm imagining a lot of this is going to be sorted out, especially by the end of this year. And I think that it can take about that long for the two of you guys to either take your space, move through it, heal, and be able to forgive whatever has been going on. But it does look very positive for you. All right, moving down the list, we've got Loretta. I did not forget about you, Loretta. Thank you for being patient. Let's take a look and let's see what your question is. I see that you put it and then you removed it. So let me know, Loretta, what is your question? I saw that you paid for a 3-question reading. I see you there. Let me know what I can tell you. There she is. Is now a good time to find another job or stay and strengthen my skill sets? Hello from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Thank you for joining us. All right, so it's now a good time for Loretta to find another job or stay put and strengthen her skill set. Let's see what the cards have to say. Thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate it. So what does Loretta need to know? King of Swords reversed. Are you waiting to hear back from somebody? Did you already apply to a job? Have you already started kind of looking? To me, it seems like you're either not hearing back from someone or you're contemplating whether or not you should start a course or you need to do something to expand your skill set. This can be, King of Swords reverse can be about information, intellect, knowledge. Okay. Here's what I see. There seems to be more of a need to focus and kind of bring your attention in and really ask yourself, what is it that you like to do, right? King of Swords reverse can be waiting to hear back from a job interview, waiting to hear back about a review, waiting to hear back, but not having a lot of communication or a lot of opportunities, feeling mentally kind of stuck. This can also be whether or not you reach out to somebody for help or for assistance, whether or not you reach out to a recruiter, whether or not you go and apply for another job. If you're not feeling like mentally you're really kind of enjoying, or if something's clicking what you're currently doing. Personally, it either seems like this is like not your calling, or there seems to be some kind of something that's disconnecting for you emotionally, or not feeling like you have community, not feeling like you're living your best capabilities in the job that you're at. I feel like a lot of your skills are being underutilized, to be honest with you, because the King of Swords and the Star card both reverse is like saying, I have more to give. I feel like I can do better. I feel like more can come from this. Okay, so you're sending a lot of applications. Something I think is going to stick. I don't really know if it's going to be until later in the summer. To me, it seems like the Hermit card is putting a great emphasis on sitting and waiting for the information to come for you. It can also be talking about looking in fields that are being of service. Now, that's not limited to healthcare or the service industry or hospitality industry. It can be a multitude of things, but something about being of service, helping people. This is a card that's very much associated with Virgo. So you can also be in a situation where you start becoming more focused on specializing in an area of work, especially at the end of summer. Cool. So you're taking online courses to get various certifications. Something's going to stick. And part of what I see is whatever that is, right at the end of summer, about August going into September, I think it's going to materialize as something. Don't get discouraged if you're not getting a lot of responses right away for some of these applications, especially because I feel like whatever you're finishing, whatever certifications you're doing, that is definitely going to be something that is going to pop up more. It's going to be more likely to be something that you want to actually do for a living at the end of summer. Look Look for an Aquarius who might come in, who helps you. Look for a friend who might have a connection to a job. Do consider talking to a recruiter. And also don't overlook anything that might be in the health or the wellness or the organization field. Something about helping other people seems to be a huge focus here. Candace, I paid $39.99. I don't see my name up anymore. Don't worry, that we've got you. We've got you. Thank you guys for staying patient. Do let me know, Loretta, what is it that you're doing? You're right about the service. Yeah, that's what you really should be doing. Like, trust me on this. When this card comes up, it's somebody who's really great for helping other people. And notice he's holding a lantern. So it's really kind of like an aha moment. Something just pops up and opens up and you're like, wow, this is actually what I really enjoy doing. I hope that was helpful. Going back to my little list here. Here we go. It looks like next we have Tina. So Tina, do let me know what your question is. I'm looking for you. Okay. Oh, we did your question already. Okay, sorry about that. We got you, Tina. Okay, so next on the list is going to be Elle. Hey, Candace, general reading, please. Pisces Sun, Sag Rising. Been looking to change my career, living situation, and relationship. Well, for the Sag Rising, that's because of all the angles in your chart that's getting hit. So definitely lots of change going on in relationships because of your 7th house. There's a Mercury retrograde there, which is also putting pressure and focus on your career zone and your home zone. So let's see what pops up for you. Just know lots of relationship changes and things like that are going to be happening. And career stuff is definitely popping off as a result of the eclipse happening in your 10th house. More about focus on moving in relationships, though, for the right now. So what do we need to know for Elle? Ooh, making decisions. Going back and forth between two people, two places, two things. That's the life of any Gemini energy. Okay, Ace of Cups reversed, 3 of Pentacles. So here's the deal. When it comes to relationships, I feel like this is like a period where you're like, am I going to settle? Like, am I going to settle for something that does not feel 110%? It can also manifest as anxiety, wondering whether or not a relationship is going to actually begin, or whether or not you're going to meet somebody, whether or not you're going to expand in a relationship. 2 of Swords is about feeling stuck at a crossroads, and it can be challenges between relationships and your home life, or between your work and your ability to show up for relationships. This does make me feel like there's like a 2-month working period, maybe as many as 3 months, but some kind of decision that you have to make. Are you deciding whether or not you should move on from somebody? Are you deciding whether or not you should just scrap something? Because to me, it seems like there is a timeline that you would be giving anything that you're dealing with in this next month in regards to your relationships and also your career. So if something's not working, you're going to know from 3 months from now. 3 of Pentacles, when it's reversed, it's like whether or not you really enjoy your job, whether or not the relationship feels productive, whether or not you're planning into the future. Ace of Cups is still a positive card, so even though it's reversed, really what it's saying is that you're trying to hit restart and focus more on what you're passionate about and what emotionally feels good. But this can also put a focus on filling your own cup. Like if you're trying to make changes in your career and maybe move, and then also the relationship stuff gets peppered in there, it's kind of saying more of the focus is filling your own cup and focusing on working career stuff. So once that gets more stable, you're not going to feel like you're juggling, and you're not going to feel the tension or the stress of having to explain to a romantic partner why you're putting so much focus into your career and feeling like you need to make sacrifices. So I don't know if that makes sense for you. Okay, let's see. Let me know, Elle, if you want me to expand a little bit more. I appreciate all those 4444s. Thank you. I will also tell you that changes that happen in your relationships are really important for the next 6 weeks, because it does have a huge impact ultimately on your schedule and where you're applying yourself with your career, but also equally where you're deciding to live. And there's friction because of the squares that are happening. I feel like many Sag risings are needing to adopt new schedules in the next month, and if that means that you need to work more, so be it. If that means that you need more playtime and you need to make more time for relationships, it can happen as well. But for you, it seems like it's more about work, trying to feel more productive, trying to bring more in. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Good, good. Good. Yeah, give it about 3 months. And I feel like it's more, like I said, it's about you than it is about relationships. Colton, what is your question for me, Colton? I'm trying to find your posts here. You're up, you're up, you're up. And then next will be Mar. So Mar, I see your question too. I will be with you shortly. Colton, let me know what your question is. Hi, Kid the Misfit. Hi, Vanessa. Elle, definitely make the change then, because it seems like with the cup reversed, it's putting more of a focus and an emphasis on something that's going to be more emotionally fulfilling. I also feel like it is pointing to Cancer season, that you're going to start to see your emotions shift about what you're doing for a living, and you're going to feel good about having made a change when you start seeing potential and new job outlooks that'll come in about 6 weeks time. All right, Colton, let me know if you are here. Just waiting on you. Let me know your question. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. If you guys just check the link below, there is a link that says Cosmic Tip Jar, support my work. We'll pin it. It's my PayPal. You can send that there as well if you don't have Super Chat. Okay, Colton, I'm still waiting on you. Just let me know. I'm just gonna pop on over and take the next person. So Mar, I have a question regarding my business. I am launching in my current career. Will it be an easy transition from one to the next? Just a heads up, you know that we're in Mercury retrograde. We're also in the midst of eclipses. Mercury squaring Neptune right now, so there's a lot of people that benefit from updating websites and business cards and services and making sure they have all their documents in order and that everything is ready to go. So it can be harder to actually get some of these launches done in the immediate next 3 weeks, so just be mindful of that. How will my June go? Colton, I'll be right back with you. I'm just going to do this reading, so just stay put for me. All right, so Mar, let's take a look at what you need to know regarding your business transition. Four of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, reversed. I feel like this is saying that, first of all, it's going to go well. Six of Wands is about victory. It's about being successful in your transition, especially when it comes to actually approaching your career, if it's involving traveling, if it's involving sales, if it's involving going out and interacting with other people. Such a great card to be pulling for the final card. Four of Cups coming up does talk about like being kind of bummed out about something not working, or that there was a delay, or that there was things didn't really go as planned in the last couple of years when it comes to your career stuff, and that you've been kind of like beating yourself up, or you've been a little bit down about what hasn't worked, especially because, you know, to me it seems like this is really being driven by a need to have more financial support, to feel like you have long-term goals when it comes to your career, that it's something that can really stick and kind of go the distance. Especially if this is like you've made an investment into this, like if you have had to pay to go back to school, take a course, get a license, if you've put money into a business that's your own personal business, whatever you've put out there, it's definitely going to come back to you. But the one thing that I would tell you is be patient with actually seeing the results of this career change. Really, it's more so about like how you're being received by other people. So I don't really understand what it is that you're doing for work. Do let me know. But to me, it seems like if you are going to be selling something, working with people, engaging with people, going back and forth, selling something, this is definitely going to be something that is going to be lucrative. It's just going to take a little bit of time before you see that kind of success come to fruition. 6 weeks, 6 months. I also feel like this may give you the opportunity to really broaden your horizons, and this is almost like the very beginning phase of you going into a complete new transition. Something that also is going to teach you more about money, finances, value, sales, things that are going to help you kind of feel like you have more financial stability going into the future. There's going to be more growth though. This is just the first phase. Let me know what you're doing. That'll be interesting to see how that relates specifically to you. Colton, I see your question. Thank you very much. Looks like you want to know how your June is going to go. All right, Colton. Ready? Let's take a look and let's see what June has in store for you. Judgment. So Judgment is a card that deals with certain situations coming into fruition, putting a focus and an emphasis on making sudden decisions. Things that come to you that have been long time coming, needing to close certain doors. It's also about karma being served up, karma being kind of given to people. That's very much the case because of the eclipses. But with Judgment in the Seven of Wands, it does talk about overcoming certain obstacles, feeling like you're getting the head of a curve. Maybe you know a change is coming. Maybe you know it's time to say goodbye to somebody. Maybe you know that you're fed up with something. Maybe you're fed up with, you know, something that's been a repetitive theme in your life, like somebody who keeps coming in and out, habits that keep coming in and out, things that you keep thinking about. Judgment says like, okay, we're finally going to deal with these situations. Not a month to ignore elephants in the room. Seven of Wands is about getting ahead of the curve, being able to actually practice pushing back and kind of beating the odds. So if you find yourself in a pickle, if there's a stressful situation or something that pops up, just know that you're going to come out on top. One thing I would say is that this is about being able to kind of cut the head off the snake before things happen. So if you know that some ending is coming, or you get the impression somebody's going to give you bad news or somebody's going to cut you out in some way, this is like you being like, oh no, I'm going to do it first. You're not going to do it. I'm going to do it. The good news is that Eight of Coins does talk about a lot of stability in your career or in your professional life, and really funneling all of this energy into what you've cleared, into getting super laser focused on perfecting something. If you notice with the Eight of Coins, he has all of his energy focused on these pentacles, and he's hammering away at these pentacles, and he's doing the same pentacle over and over and over. It says practice makes perfect. Repetition is the answer. So it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Maybe that's the focus for you to stay focused on your health, your wellness, your financial goals, really putting in a lot of energy into your work and really doing good work, especially when you need to just kind of like drown everything out around you, or all the drama around you. So just know that something really good is going to come from this. It's going to be lucrative. It's going to help you for the future of your finances. And whatever it is that you're working on, you're going to nail it. All right. Let's take a look here. Okay. Looks like who we have next is Cara, Sag rising, Sun in Libra. Oh, Sag rising, Pisces Sun, Libra Moon. Looking to move locations for a job, more independent, smaller space, costs a bit more money. Because you're a Sag rising, because there's all these squares happening between your third and also your sixth house, that's moving offices. But trying to find something that's cost effective is key. Because Saturn's in Aquarius, you want independence. Let's see what the cards have to say about this. So what you need to know about looking to move locations for your job. The universe very much supports this, like big time for your astrology. Oops. Okay. Okay. Timing is everything. It's kind of saying that there may be, you know, multiple places that pop up. It's just a matter of what you're willing to pay for it, right? What I'll tell you is this. Because we are getting ready to have another Saturn-Uranus square in mid-June, that can manifest as like getting ready to sign a lease, and then it's like, wait, no, there's this one, and it was a third of the price. Take your time, because it seems like you can get into something, it'll be nice, it'll be beautiful, it'll be comfortable, but it's really gonna cost, and you're gonna be like, well, does it make sense for me to do this? It's also saying that in waiting, there is a lot more potential that comes. The World card reversed is like, hold up, wait a second. You know, really read the fine print when it comes to a lease, consider all of your options. Maybe you want more independence, but you also aren't willing to give on the location or the amenities and where you're wanting to work. It may be a good idea to really thoroughly look at all of your options, especially if that means going in on sharing a space with another person. That may help move the process along a little bit better. So as you weigh your options about what your non-negotiables are, the World card says you need to complete something or you need to clear something out. It might be that you need to finish finish a lease and you're like, my lease is coming up, but I need to find something, and I don't want to break my lease, and I don't want to be paying for 2 leases. I don't know if that makes sense, Cara, let me know. But temperance reverse is like saying it's just you need to be patient. There are certain other events that need to play out. Like, from my perspective, just knowing what I know about your chart, I think it's a really good idea for you to probably wait at least until mid next month to see a lot of this stuff pan out, because you're going to possibly be able to either get into a much nicer facility or a much nicer office, or within a nicer area, and also save money if you wait. But I definitely see you waiting. This is gonna happen before, I see you moving. This will happen before the end of the year. If you can't swing it, you can also wait until we get closer to the end of summer, when quite a few planets go into Virgo and they start to really kind of help you sort and sift and bring all the pieces together in an earthly plane. That's gonna help you make that transition, because it's gonna make positive aspects to your 6th house of Taurus. So let me know if that resonates. But I think it's going to be a bigger space. It might be within your budget, but you may contemplate sharing it or getting it into a joint space where you still have privacy. You will still have privacy. That's the one thing I will tell you about this. Okay, guys. Project Love Next Move. Okay. Don't worry, guys, I'm going to check the PayPal. I'm just going in order. Just stay with me. Hopefully that was helpful, Cara. Let me know. Next, we have Jane Ross. Would love a 1-card reading specific to my finances, or if something intuitive comes to you. You're the best, Candace. Thanks. Thank you. Jaylene Ross. I think I said Jane. Jaylene Ross. Thank you. I like your little icon. It looks like Doug. Those of you guys who remember that show from the 90s, it looks a lot like, oops, like Doug. Hi, what a great card to be getting for your finances. 10 of coins, we just had that a second ago. So I see that as being a huge focus on long-term financial planning, abundance, stability, especially pertaining to either your career or to your family. That can be talking about more money coming in so you can actually grow a business, expand in business, get a raise, be recognized by superiors. This is also about long-term planning when it comes to your life, or setting money aside, getting to a point where you're starting to think about your long-term financial goals, and not just where you want to be, 10 weeks from now, but where you want to be in 10 years. This is long-term plans when it comes to money. This can also be about money coming to you through older relatives or older people who want to support you and want to give back to you and see you be successful. I have seen this card sometimes come up when somebody is gifted something, or if there was a celebration, if there's a birthday, if there's a wedding, if there's anything like that, they'll get like a nice chunk of change. So this is a really good card to be getting for your financial outlook for right now. There we go. Scorpio Sun, Taurus Rising. So if you're a Taurus Rising, Scorpio Sun, how are you doing with those squares? Especially with Saturn and Aquarius, there can be a huge focus on your family wanting to help you, or there being some changes in your home life and your relationship life, and it costs, but having the stability that you need to be able to navigate those changes. Thank you, Cara. I see you. Don't have a lease currently. Don't want to be with anyone. Here's what I'll tell you. It may be, if it's not going to be a joint space, it can be that you're going to go and work in like a communal office space. And I don't mean like you're having to share the actual office. It might be like one of those WeWorks or something where there's a lot more people. And if there is more volume, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's actually going to make it more affordable for you to be able to move. But definitely, you will definitely be moving with those cards. Like, it's a guarantee. The energy is supported really all the way through the end of the year, but it really is going to start to build at the end of summer. Going back to, I hope that was helpful, Ross. I hope that was helpful. Okay. Moving down my list, let me check who we have on PayPal, because I know we've got a couple. Kat Smith, I see you. And Vanessa, I see you. Okay, so next we've got Christina, Keisha, and another Christina. Oh, there's two. Thank you very much. Christina, I don't know if you meant to do that twice. Let me know. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to go in order here. So give me just a second. Make sure we're all caught up on here. Yep, it's a sweet to have your own salon. You'll have it. Okay, so let me finish up with Amanda, and then we're going to hit everybody who sent the PayPal. So just give me 1 second, guys, okay? So Amanda, the person I'm seeing, will he finally open up? I'm a Sag, and he's a Scorpio. Ah, that's a fiery combination. All right, Amanda, let's see what the cards have to say about you and your Scorpio. Also, Mar, I love that you're doing feng shui. That's really good for those cards, because that's healing, helping. All right, Amanda, will he finally open up? 6 of Wands, 5 of Cups reversed, Hermit reversed. Yes, but to me it seems like there's going through the motions and being like, yeah, I'm trying, I'm opening up, I'm showing up, and then there's actually doing the work. So it's important to recognize that it seems like the internal is the last thing to shift here with this person, right? So 6 of Wands is, yes, being victorious. You're still going to see him. You're still going to have that connection. 5 of Cups reversed is moving out of a state of sorrow and loneliness. I can say this because I'm a Scorpio. Scorpios have this tendency to see like the darker side of life until they go through certain healing rites and transitions, and they start to kind of realize that certain things happen to give us life experience so that way we can grow as a person. So this card tells me like being stuck in his feelings, being stuck in his stuff, being attached to pain, to hurt, especially if he's had a hard time with previous relationships that didn't pan out, having a perspective that people aren't going to understand him or that he needs to deal with things on his own. He seems to think this way. So when the 5 of Cups is reversed, it's not moving on from the past, it's being attached to past hurt, it's not learning new emotional patterns and wanting to kind of sit in that, and it's not healthy. It can lead to drinking or depression or isolation or just getting to where he's isolating himself from his partner, you. The Hermit card reversed is saying that he is not aware of that. Excuse me, he can't see it. There is a need for him to also perhaps seek some kind of assistance or a healing modality. So it's like whether that's going and seeing a hands-on healer, or going and getting energy worked out of his body with a massage, or soaking, or going and getting help for somebody who can help him on an emotional level. There is a block here, and it's also going to start affecting his physical health. Or it can be that the feelings are coming from feeling stuck and not feeling like he can kind of get moving and shaking. I do feel like this can get better though, because for Scorpio, Virgo is 2 houses behind them. So it does deal with like support coming from friends, from friendships, friends trying to get him out of his comfort zone, trying to get him out into the open to talk about things. I'm not saying go and get involved in his personal life, but it can be helpful to like also reach out to mutual friends and try to encourage him to go out and do things together, kind of finding that zest in life again, or kind of finding that it's okay for him to open up and feel comfortable and have that integration of relationships and also social life. So he's being held accountable for when he falls out or when he checks out on you. The Hermit reverse also means he doesn't see it. He may not be aware of this behavior. He may not see that he's having these challenges or these issues in his life, and it will take time for him to see this. So it's important for him not to merge past hurt with future relationships or current relationships. There may be some kind of assistance or help that either comes through a mutual friend to kind of help work through some of this stuff, or equally there can be a Virgo that can come in, or some kind of healing archetype or healer archetype to help him and like have an intervention, because I see like Hermit reversed is like an intervention. So it can also be health things that manifest as a result of him being kind of down in his moods, and like that being something that really shakes him up and makes him realize where he's not doing his work. We have a lot of placements in common also. You know, one other thing I'll tell you is for Scorpio is like Saturn's in Aquarius. So, you know, it's really having some really hard angles between Uranus in their 7th house of relationships and Saturn in their 4th. Many Scorpios have to deal with root issues that come from their family. They have to deal with root issues that are also stemming from issues in where they're physically living, you know, not feeling like they have enough space, or maybe they're staying at home all the time and they're icing themselves out from people in their life. But give him until the end of summer. I feel like, you know, the Hermit card reverse is saying that things can kind of come out the other end then. But if he goes through periods of like icing you out and like not communicating and stuff, leave him alone, let him be. Because, you know, when you leave a Scorpio alone and you let them work through their stuff, like they will come back. How long it takes, we don't know. But in this case, I see you being victorious and like things can really be on the up and up by the end of summer. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so that was everybody that we got specifically that was in the chat. So give me just a second. Let's go and pull up and see what we have got with you guys. Thank everybody for being patient. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so here we go in order. Looks like we've got Christina D. Thank you, Jennifer. Got a couple people ahead of you, but I promise I will get to you shortly. Christina, it looks like you may have bought a reading and a question is what it looks like, or is what I'm guessing. Yes, his past relationships are all toxic and not the type he dates. I'm total opposite. Tried to prove it to him. He has a hard childhood. He does isolate. When he does, he acts like an ass when I do. Here's the thing, leave him alone, okay? He has to realize that he has to uproot these patterns from his early childhood development where he would feel like nobody was listening to him. So leave him alone, trust me. Unless he's somebody who's going through like issues with addiction or is having some kind of real health crisis, let him be, because I feel like that's what he needs to realize, that you're not always gonna be there for him to keep pushing him to open up. The fact that you're different is a good thing. Like he needs that, because if he can't step up to the plate and see that what's showing up for him is somebody that's actually good for him and that's here to help him heal, then it's no dice, girl. Okay, I see you. Yeah, well, Scorpios are moody, you know. Use this retrograde as an opportunity to let him work through his stuff. It's his 8th house, so it's about him learning how to be vulnerable. Okay, so I'm looking for Christina D. Let me know if you're here, Christina. I'm also looking for Keisha. Either one of you guys. Followed by Vanessa Gomez. Hey girl, I'll get with you in just a second. So for Christina or Keisha, whoever has their question, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Christina, Keisha, Vanessa. What are your questions, girls? Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for tuning in. If you like my reading style, drop me a comment or a like or a share. Subscribe to my channel for more on tarot and astrology. If you want to check out my website or my social media, like my Instagram or my Facebook, check out my links below. Oh, okay, so it's Christina and Vanessa. All right, girls, give me your questions. Christina. Thank you for booking a reading. Ooh, a reading and a question. We'll be talking in a bit. So fun being able to come and like just hang out with you guys live on a Monday. A lot of us aren't working, right? Here in the States, we're having Memorial Day. Okay, finance project, love, next move, Cancer moon, Cancer sun, Taurus rising. So the first card that I got for you was the 8 of coins, 4 of swords, judgment. A lot of repetitive cards coming up. You've got to make up their mind. So one by one, so, you know, your Taurus rising, there's a huge focus and an emphasis right now on building your career. Saturn in Aquarius, moving through your 10th house. 8 of coins talks about perfecting something, being able to work hard on something, being able to see a long-term project all the way through. Whatever this project is, finance project, something that you're working on, something that might take a couple months to launch, be mindful that like this is going to be lucrative, but you just got to take your time. Like this is a very tedious task or something that's taking a while for you to build, several months for you to really build into this abundance that's going to come in. One thing that I will say is with the Four of Swords coming up, it's talking about not overworking, like needing to have a healthy work-life balance and knowing when it's time to take a step back, and like actually resting. This is a card that comes up for resting, sleeping, whether or not you're getting enough downtime, whether or not you're feeling mentally kind of discombobulated. It can be hard for you to find a schedule and keep the pace. And so one thing I would say is actually focus on your rest. When it comes to financial projects, professional projects, things like that, realize that if something's not moving, like if it's dead in the water and you're waiting for something to manifest or you're waiting for somebody to show up, leave it alone, let it be. Like don't push something that's not vital. You will see that certain doors are going to close, but not because people give you closure, not because people say no, because people don't get back to you, because plans don't follow, people don't follow through with plans, people don't email you back, they don't call you back, they may not have another meeting with you. Take that as a no and don't push it, because it's almost like the more that you start going back to whatever the long-term goal was with your financial or professional project, the better it's going to become. Don't get caught up in like the conflicts with communication. Judgment card is also saying whatever's meant to be is meant to be. This is also rest and renewal that's going to come after a launch. So it's kind of saying like having to work hard for the next 8 days, 8 weeks, 8 months, or through the 8th month of this year. And then there's going to be a lot more rest the second half of this year. Judgment's also saying make decisions, cut certain things off. If something's not working, just let it go, let it be. Don't go and feel like you need to resuscitate something or someone if it's not panning out. These cards are more about what's working for you and you taking the initiative. So whether this is like with your professional stuff or your romantic relationships, the real need to kind of call a spade, and if a relationship or a project is dead in the water, letting it go, letting it be, okay? Not a lot that comes out for the love life in that situation, but let me know. Cancer moon, Cancer sun. I know that, you know, with Jupiter and Pisces, it's good for you right now because there's lots of trines happening to your personal planets. And it's really kind of opening up a lot of stuff, especially as it pertains to your beliefs, right? Your higher self, what you're learning about yourself and what you're realizing is truth. Okay, bopping on to the next. So I saw you, Vanessa. Thank you. Let me find you here. Life has been wild. Wondering more about work and career, new love and relationship. Taurus sun, Virgo moon, Sag rising. You Sag risings are just like so much change. Life has been wild. Lots of changes in the workplace for sure. All right. Wondering more about career. So let's see what I got from you here. Kidoki. So it's a 3-card reading. Okay. For Vanessa. So what do you need to know about love and career? Work and career. Love and relationship. 5 of Swords reversed. 2 of Swords. 2 of Coins. Weighing out your options, getting anxious and wanting answers from other people, wanting to get feedback from other people, wondering where the chips are going to fall. For 2 of Swords and 2 of Coins to be coming up, that tells me like one thing that you're really stressing out over is having to make choices about what's going to be the most abundant, what's going to be the most lucrative, how you're going to save money, how you're going to spend money, how you're going to bring more in. With that 5 of Swords coming up reversed, it's also saying like moving away from mental static where there may be negativity, there may be conflict, moving out of a space where there's like arguments going on or people who are not communicating effectively, especially if you are going through changes with where you're working or how you're working. You might feel like schedules aren't really flowing or people really aren't on the same page. That can be really frustrating, and I think maybe you've seen this in this last month, especially with the squares and things happening to your 6th house. Now that you've got a Mercury retrograde in the 7th, when it comes to dealing with coworkers, dealing with family, dealing with friends, lots of miscommunications happening. And so 5 of Swords reversed is like picking your battles and knowing when you want to get involved in conflict and when it's best to just say nothing and walk away. Because you may feel like you're talking on a wall this month and like no matter what you say, people aren't really getting it or they're not really kind of falling into falling into place. Two of Swords does say that you need to make a decision, but this decision doesn't really need to be made for about 2 months. So Two of Pentacles coming up reversed is like, are you juggling too much? Are you working too much? Do you feel like it's not easy for you to communicate with people, that you've got a lot on your plate and it's harder for you to be able to manage what's going on with your professional life and your personal life? Two of Coins reverse does tell me you have your hands full. So realize that if there needs to be a change or a tweak to your schedule, all you need to do is communicate. Focus more on not talking about what's been going wrong. We want to be about solutions, not adding to the problem. Taurus Sun, Virgo Moon. So one other thing I would say is that with all of these energies that are kind of shaping up for you, a lot of this is about doing some emotional spring cleaning. You know, Jupiter is in Pisces now, so it's about focusing on clearing everything out and where it actually benefits you to pay attention to what's going on in your emotional life, also within your physical home or within your family. There is some solitude there, so the more that you're putting focus on like having emotional stability and having good people around you and not allowing other people to come in and kind of dampen your vibe, it really keeps all of your vibes very high. So you're thinking positively and you're being optimistic and you're open to making some of these changes. Because if you're feeling uncomfortable right now, it's for a good reason. The universe is trying to get you into a new schedule. All right, I'm gonna pop back over to PayPal. Thank you guys for staying with me. Hi everybody in the chat, welcome, welcome, welcome. Getting back on over to, we still have Keisha. Vanessa, I hope that was helpful. Still have Keisha and Jennifer, you're on deck as well. You're coming up next here. Guys, if you don't have Super Chat, you're more than welcome to check out my links below. You can see my PayPal. You can purchase a 3-card or a 1-card reading. If that's not enough for you, check out my schedule below. We can get you set up and we can get you booked for a reading. I practice predictive and evolutionary astrology, composite or relationship readings, synastry readings. If you're looking to open a business and you need a date, or maybe you're planning a wedding or anything like that, I do that as well. So check out my website below at beyondtheveiltarot.com. It's kind of a rare site to get me on here to be able to do readings. I'm usually booked out a couple of months at a time. I think I have a couple spaces left in July, if I think correctly. I think I'm booked out about 6 weeks. But you'll be able to catch me here every now and then doing readings live for you guys. For those of you guys who can't wait, or maybe you want a little bit of a sneak preview of how I read. So just waiting to hear back from some people. I feel like there's a lot of people who are trying to decide whether or not it's time for them to make a change in their career. I mean, that's always happening, right, in the world. But right now, people are really starting to be more open to, or more flexible with what comes up for them in a professional realm. Some of you guys are thinking about starting new ventures, launching businesses, taking new courses, acquiring new skills. There's been a lot of the Magician and the Eight of Coins that have come up. There's been a lot of Two of Swords that's come up in these readings as well. It's, do I go this way or do I go that way? Know that the month of June is really about being open to alternative solutions, alternative choices. Maybe it would be going and taking a course on something that interests you, and then you realize like, wow, this is something that I really want to do, or a language that you feel that you could learn that would benefit you in business or in travel some way. So just know, like, there's a lot of these energies coming up collectively for a lot of the readings so far this evening. So I feel like if you're somebody who's sitting at home and you're like, do I do it? Do I take a chance? A lot of frequencies right now are changing. They're fluctuating because we've got Mercury in retrograde. So it's a time to revision, you know, our careers, our relationships, our finances, our lives. And it's great because we have the opportunity to go and energetically clean out the fridge. And Gemini really encourages us to keep an open mind and to have a plan B, C, sometimes D, and have a multitude of choices, right? This whole next month is about choices. Like, in a lot of ways, I want you guys to think about June as like the dessert tray. And it comes out and you're like, oh, that looks good. I'll try that. Okay, I want some of that too, but give me a little bit of this. variety is the spice of life. Unless you're married, there is a sense of being able to have choices this month. And I feel like as June unfolds, there's going to be more and more and more opportunities. And those who are patient are the ones who will probably make out the best, because the more that we wait into the Mercury retrograde and we see all of these different possibilities unfold, we see what is possible and what is not possible as we cut through Neptune's fog. So look for lots of information drops, lots of epiphanies, aha moments, important conversations, emails, even submitting, for new jobs, and maybe even getting some responses. I think it's going to be quite active mid-month. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that was helpful. Okay. Purchase 1 card reading on PayPal. What was your name, Kid the Misfit? Just so I know, it might be a little different. I see you, Kristin. I see you. Thank you for checking in. What is your question, both Kristin and Kid the Misfit? One of you has to be Keisha. Is that you, Kid the Misfit? Is that you? If it is, let me know. What is your question for your 3 card? Thank you, Michelle. We see you. We will get to you shortly. I appreciate it. Thank you. I've been waiting for these. They're still not blooming. They've been in water for like a week, and they're on their own time. Every time I check on them in the morning, I'm like, you gonna open up? It's funny because I had some a couple weeks ago, and hi Keisha, I see you. What is your question about? I had some couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, and it was like they immediately bloomed, but these ones are just taking their time. Taking the time. Keisha, what's your question? Kristin, what is your question? You guys let me know. Then we will pop on over to Jennifer. Need to talk to Jennifer as well. I did not forget about you. All right, here we go. Gemini Sun, Sag Rising, Pisces Moon. What's coming for me in Gemini season? Revenge of the exes? I hope not. Let's see what the cards have to say, Keisha. Just know that there is a retrograde and eclipse in your 7th of relationships, putting pressure on your Gemini Sun. Interesting that you've got your Sun in the 1st house. Retrograde happening there in opposition to all that Sun in your 7th house with a retrograde. So how do you feel in relationships? What do you like from relationships? What do you need? So let's see what Gemini season is going to bring you. Happy birthday time. Well, to me, this is like long-term planning. There seems to be a focus and an emphasis on what am I building into? What is my focus? What do I want to grow into? Whether this has to do with money, this has to do with security. The overall theme is security. Whether this comes in the form of better health, more stable career, long-term planning with your finances or with relationships. It's hard for me not to talk about that, knowing that there is this focus and this emphasis with the South Node in Sag to release and let go of this feeling that you have to do things on your own. So to me, it seems like you have long-term goals and plans, but you might get overwhelmed because you're like, well, how is this going to happen, or how is that going to manifest? Realize that all of the energy for the next month is to help you become more clear about what you need in terms of relationships and how you identify within relationships. 2 of Wands reverse is not seeing clearly yet, or not being able to have a chosen path. Maybe you're like, I don't know if I want to be in a relationship. I don't know if I want this person or that person. I don't know if I want to go back to relationships. Clear and honest communication in my relationships. Okay, cool. Here's what I would say to you. It's about being able to cut through the bullshit. Hangman coming up reversed is basically saying, like, if you find yourself avoiding certain pitfalls in relationships, or avoiding confrontation, avoiding conversations, like, get ahead of the curve. There is a need for you to really sit and reflect, but not take too long, and not lose yourself in thinking or being idealistic that something's going to pan out if there are things that are happening that doesn't match up with your long-term goals. If your partner is not communicating or acting in a way or helping proactively plan the future, you're going to get weird. If you feel like you guys aren't on the same page about finances, and you know, this is a card that deals with marriage, it deals with money, it deals with long-term goals, long-term financial investments and planning. So if you guys aren't spending money the same, if you're not talking the same language, there's going to be some hang-ups. Equally, this can be talking about reflecting on the past and wondering whether or not there was something that was missed in the past, whether or not you're repeating the same patterns from the past. You may have dreams about people from the past. Equally, you're going to start seeing stuff about the future and what the future can look like and what the future of relationships feels like. But first, it starts with communication and being able to get clear. So there is a real need to like sit down and get really clear about what your long-term goals are in any one of these arenas, and be able to be more upfront and authentic about what it is that you want and you need. So that way you can get from point A to point B. Fork in the road. Yeah, well, the fork in the road is not going to end anytime soon. It's almost like the universe in a way is withholding some of the future from you because they want to see if you're going to take that leap of faith, and if you're going to either have that conversation, make that change, you know, take that chance. Don't sit here like an ostrich with your head in the sand, because that's what this is right now. It's like, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to ignore it. And it's really saying it's not going to get better. This can perpetuate, kind of go for a very long period of time. Let me know. I have a feeling, though, that with the Hangman, really what it's saying for you is like Jupiter in Pisces is trying to get you to be more in touch with your feelings. And realistically, if there is a path forward and if there is an ability to have like a renewal with your emotional self and believing in yourself, or traveling and going somewhere to find yourself. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sending you love right back at you. Okay, Kristin, I see you. I have some serious, weird, dark energies in a dream space. I put salt next to my bed, but that isn't enough. I used to be the very best friend in the world after cutting cords. Yikes. There's weird energy right now. And I'm not just saying that because of the retrograde or the eclipses. The other day I was in my office. It was yesterday. I was in my office. And I got a weird vibe, and it's very strange because I don't usually like get spooked, you know. I'm pretty good about that as long as I have a nightlight and I close the closet door. I'm afraid of the dark because of the things that I know that are hanging around. But I was in my office, which I usually keep pretty zened out, and I got the creeps. I was like, oh, something's around. And then I burned some sage, and I was like, it's gonna go away. And then last night I was getting ready to go to bed, and I got the creeps. Vibrations are weird. I feel like there's some stuff going on, portals and things like that, things that are happening and opening, and Mercury squares Neptune, and there's like ghosty things. So I'm sorry to hear that you're having some weird stuff. Let's take a look and let's see what's going on and why you were feeling yucky after cutting some cords. Girl, he ain't done with you. What's going on here? You know, 9 of coins is you. It's like, hey, walking away, I'm going to let it be. I'm done. I'm whole without you. I'm complete. I'm good. I've made that decision. Here's a weird thing about cutting cords, kids. When you do that, the ego of the other person usually responds. Like, raise your hand if you have personally been victimized as a result of cutting cords, and then that person comes back into your life, because that's usually how it works. For every action, there is a reaction. And even if you're not talking to people, even if you're not interacting with them, the ego or the higher self can be like, no. And it's like this toddler that's throwing a fit, you know? But the Judgment card reversed in the 3 of Swords says there's still hurt or there's still pain that's attached to this encounter or this connection. It's not you, because you're like, I'm cool, I'm good, peace. But Judgment reversed in the 3 of Swords is like, maybe that person knows that you've had a tendency to be way too understanding, willing to overlook bullshit, willing to overlook drama, that you have a tendency to like let them back in. or that you would forgive them for whatever reason. But this is just bad news bears. Judgment reverse is saying like there's no resurrecting that relationship, that friendship. I know you know this, but they don't know this. And this can be a really good time to like work with archangels and like help them clear out this energy, because this is Gabriel. Gabriel shows up, he brings a message. He's basically saying this is it, this is enough. And in the Judgment card, you see them like resurrecting zombies, and they like, pop up and they're like, hey. But when it's reversed, it's like a zombie movie that you don't want, right? It's like that person shows up and then it's just like still not your best friend. So yeah, that door is closed. Three of Swords is also saying that it may take a period of time for this healing to take place, for that to really clear. Send him healing to help and hope that his higher self disconnects. Invocations also, so working and invoking the element of air, maybe bringing something ritually into an altar space to be able to cut through and like clear cords. So you may want to work with that kind of energy, or like a dagger, or even like a crystal wand, to just get into the ritual, at least for the next 3 weeks, of just like cutting it, because you need to do it repetitively. They're not over it though. There's some hurt feelings. He's trying the magician the shit out of my life. I mean, lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram can be really good. It can be really great for just banishing emotional ties. It can be really great for banishing weird planetary energies, things like that, just to really clear it out. People are asking for candle advice, for any advice on overhaul. Let me know. We've got these down here if you guys are just checking in. We've got this card, and this card. So this is going to be a pick a card reading. So if you can't afford a donation, totally fine. I'm going to pull these and flip them over. So I'm going to tell you guys what the insight is. So whichever one you're feeling drawn to, keep paying attention. As we get to the end of my readings, I will tell you what it says. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. I'm going to pop back up here really quick. Jennifer, thanks for being patient. I see you. You've been hanging out here for a little bit. Thank you for waiting. Anything coming up ahead in the next few months, personally, professionally, or spiritually? Great advice. Great question. It's always good to just stay open. We can be specific with reading questions, but sometimes the best thing you can say is, what do I need to know? What's coming through? Especially because Spirit has a bit of a sense of humor these days, and tarot cards are very different than oracle cards. They're so sassy. They're like right between the eyes, you know? All right, Jennifer, so let's take a look and let's see what's coming up for you the next few months, personally and professionally or spiritually. Tower reversed, 6 of Wands, Strength card reversed, complete overhaul. The nice thing is whatever this Tower moment was for you, it's reversed. So it's saying like you have been in the process of clearing. You have been clearing things out for some time. This has been happening really since about January, February of 2021. The Tower card is a card that's about toppling everything. It's, if you think about like a house that's built on a foundation that's not strong, it has to fall, right? Or inevitably it will fall. So when the Tower comes up reversed, it's like looking at things and going like, all right, the crisis already happened. Now we're in the rebuilding phase, and now we're focused on the future. We're not going back there. We're focused on the future. When it comes to your creative projects or children or lovers or people who you are romantically tied to, Strength card is a great card. When it's reversed, it's saying we can't push, we can't force, we can't make these things happen. We can't push creativity. We can't push romance. We can't push children. They have a mind of their own. It does say overall, though, I do see you being successful. I do wonder if this is about you going on some type of trip or being able to get creative renewal. It's like going off somewhere and finding yourself, visiting friends, visiting family, and being able to have some time to just let all of your energy levels kind of adjust so you can clear something out and become more aware of your inner strength. When it's upright, strength can represent the time of Leo, but it also really represents energies that we can't contain. Notice that she doesn't have the lion in a headlock. She doesn't have him on a leash, and she's not kind of pushing him into something. When it's reversed, it's saying the strength comes on an internal level. It is about emotional strength. It is about emotional vulnerability. There is a focus also on your creative projects or something with children. So I don't know what you've got going on there. Let me know. I wonder what this is. Is it like, did you decide to finally move on from something? Because the Tower and the Strength card is basically saying like, working up the nerve or having worked up the nerve to move on from a situation and overcome something, especially if it's a loss or if it's an ending. And this is interesting because the Tower is Mars, okay? This is Leo. So really, I think when you're going to start to see some stuff shift is when Mars goes into Leo, or even when Venus goes into Leo. So you have a lot to look forward to in this next month. This is also about gatherings, get-togethers, finding like-minded people, people who are going to actually boost you up, putting a focus and an emphasis on internal healing. So let me know, Jennifer, if you have a question, if you have a follow-up, if I can go a little bit deeper into this for you. We also have Michelle. I see you there, Michelle J. What is your question, my dear? Let me know what your question is. Those of you guys who are just tuning in, we're doing live readings. You can have one card or you can have three. You can see the super chat to the chat window, or if you have PayPal, check out my link below. Or if you just want to hang out and watch, let me know. Yes, ex-husband, mama to 2 kids. He's a Leo rising. Go and focus on time for just yourself. Can be hard when you got 2 kids and if you're possibly a single mom, but there is some focus and need to, like, you know, have time to yourself. In doing so, to me, it seems like that space that you have from other people makes you more appreciative. You're in a better mood. You're going to enjoy your kids more. You're going to feel like you've given some energy and some vitality to your creativity, to your love life, to your dating life. It can feel like you're scared maybe to be moving and shaking in that realm, but there is a need for you to have that separate portion of your life that's actually opening up. You need more playtime. He's a Leo rising. I think really that's about, you know, even if you guys have been separated for some time, now you're really starting to actually feel the separation, like feeling that detachment. Even if you guys are co-raising kids together, you know, you're finally starting to kind of like maintain or define yourself without him, or have that independence, and you may not feel so likely to want to be around him as much. Then going out with friends and family, keep doing that. Like, keep doing that, especially because I feel like you might be invited to go and do something within 6 weeks time that you're going to do without your kids. I say go. Judgment says go. It's also a time to really make some hard decisions when it comes to what your heart is telling you. Michelle J. I feel like every aspect of my life has been stuck for so long, no matter how much effort I make to move forward, wondering how things will finally start happening and what's next. All right, Michelle. Jennifer, if he got remarried, send him away with love. Because now it really is your time. And part of that means being okay and letting people know when you need to do things. And also being like, hey, I need you to watch the kids. I'm going out of town for a week. And all right, Michelle, every aspect of your life has been stuck. Well, let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can give you some positive insight on what's coming. King of Pentacles, 10 of Wands reversed, 4 of Coins. Here's the thing. 2 things. One is, do you know what your sun sign is, your rising sign? I'd be interested to see, because this is really going to give me more insight into what's going on with your life. King of Pentacles does talk about either dealing with an earth sign man or dealing with a financial situation that you're really trying to get a hold of. You know, kings are masters at their trade. So when we're looking at pentacles, it's about money, it's about business, it's about health, it's about wellness. To me, it seems like part of what's kind of building in your life right now is this realization that in order for you to be strong in these areas, you have to let certain things go. Sometimes when we get so fixated on telling ourselves a certain story, or we get so attached to things not working or not moving forward, that we just keep perpetuating that cycle. I'm not saying that you're continuing this, but there is a need for you to really make a shift and let go of something that you're holding on to tightly. It can be physical things too. So it's like, I have to live here, but nothing's changing. I have to stay at this job, but nothing's changing. I have to stay in this relationship, nothing's changing. It wants to get you to look at in your life, what you value. And are you holding on to something because you feel like it brings you value or it brings you security, when in reality it may not be? Take a look at the things that you're unwilling to change, or that seem like it's too hard to change. 10 of Wands reverse is talking about letting it all go. This can also be a card that comes up where you're dealing with a move or a relocation, clearing something out, clearing your space even. You know, this can be talking about like having too much stuff around and needing to purge and kind of clear everything out so you can get better organized, so you can see clearly. Let's see. So let me know, Michelle, are you trying to move? Like when you talk about moving forward, this is the card of moving forward, but this is about coming up with a plan, right? In order to move forward and getting all of your ducks in a row and knowing what non-negotiables you have in your life, so you can start kind of trimming the fat and saying what isn't working. This is financial. This is financial. This is health. This is feeling stuck or unwilling to move on from a situation that you're holding on to too tightly. Let me know. There might be a delay, so just be patient, guys. Had all kinds of weird stuff going on with the internet today. It's like nuts. I'm over it. I'm so over Mercury retrograde, and it just started. Okay. Just checking my purchases. Give me 1 second, guys, so I can stay up to date with what you guys are asking. I got you, Suda. Thank you, general reading for your near future, please. I'll get to you in just a moment. Trying to move, but it keeps not happening. Okay, this is the card of movement. This is about moving. I'm wondering, you know, is the move just purely up to you? Is it just you that's making the move? Are you making the move with a partner? Are you making the move with somebody else? Are you needing some kind of support? Personally, I feel like this is saying don't push it yet, because there's going to be something that's going to open up within probably the next 4 to 8 weeks. I know you may not like that timeline, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I also feel like this is saying, like, really look at your budget, look at what you're willing to spend, look at what you can spend. This is about getting more bang for your buck. This is also saying don't get too fixated on looking in just one area. Expand out a little bit. If you have to stay within a certain city, take a look at neighborhoods and places you haven't looked. Realize that there may be an older man who you end up kind of seeing that suddenly needs to move or needs to make a transition, needs to change, and something might open up or a place might become suddenly available. He may need to be putting some work into it. So it might be that you see an ad for something and they're like, well, we're not going to rent it out for a month or for 6 weeks. Look in other areas. Trust me on this, because to me, it seems like moving for you is going to be so good and so cathartic. Try and move, but it's not happening. Legally can't move. Okay, so it's gonna move. I mean, when I see the King of Pentacles and the Four of Coins, it makes me wonder if it's gonna cost for you to be able to move, or if there's gonna be something going on, or somebody who wants to actually support you, somebody who wants to help you with the process of moving. This can come through an older businessman or somebody who you get kind of entangled with. I'm not saying it's gonna be a marriage. To me, this seems more like somebody who you end up working with or working for, somebody who you may also have to pay in order to get out of the situation, but the move's going to happen. And when you do, it's going to be like super emotionally uplifting, because you're going to be like, oh my God, now I can just go. And I don't even see you so focused on physically moving things. I just see you focused on moving and just wanting to get to wherever it is that you need to go. This can also be whether or not you end up talking to like an attorney, or you end up putting money into speaking with somebody who it may cost, but they might help you kind of speed the process along. All right. I think we're caught up with everybody. Michelle, do consider this, especially if you have the means to be able to talk to someone, because it does seem like money might actually help this move forward. That or some type of employment. Okay, so let's pop on over to this and let's see who else we've got. So we've got Suda, general reading in the near future, Pisces sun and rising with a Sag moon. So many mutable people going through so many changes. so many Pisces rising, and Sag risings. I lost one of my cards, don't worry. We'll get it back. So this is for Suda. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay. General reading. Delays in messages with finances, trying to get to the core issue revolving around a financial negotiation or somebody getting paid. Interesting cards. All of them are reversed. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to happen. There's just a little bit of a delay or a block. Ace of Pentacles is this something that's going to pan out or is it not? Can I hold it? Is it going to come through? Am I going to get what I want? There is a need to really put focus and emphasis on communicating what is valuable to you, what you need, how you feel about money, how you feel about resources. Like, you got to do this. If you want more of something, just ask. Don't get all stressed out and like your head wrapped up and like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Like, there seems to be the possibility of actually losing an opportunity in the next month as a result of not speaking up or not saying anything. Now, the Queen of Swords is interesting because this can also be talking about a woman who shows up and starts talking to you about financial planning, professional planning, giving you advice, mentoring you in some way. And that being a moment where it's like an epiphany and it shines the light on what you should or should not be doing. It can be a great time in like talking to a mentor, talking to a career coach, talking to a therapist, somebody who's able to see the angles of situations that you necessarily can't see. The Sun reverse is also saying that there is happiness, but the happiness only comes after a result of kind of getting all of these elements in order. The Sun I see is more fire-based, and this seems to be more as earth-based. And we've got a sword here. So the one thing that's really missing is the element of water. It's the emotional process. This is very intellectual. This is what I think, this is what I have. But there's some emotional stuff that's kind of missing here that needs to be integrated more. This can also be like being disappointed in not seeing something financially be as lucrative as you thought, or a payment coming through and it being less than what you thought. So it's really important for you to be paying attention to not just money, but you know, how much of an effect is money and financial stress having on your life right now? And is it something that's really kind of dimming your outlook and discouraging you from continuing on your path, whether that's professionally or with a creative project? So let me know. Let me know. So we got Suda, we got Keisha, we got Kristin, we got Vanessa. Looks like we're pretty caught up. Anybody that I missed, just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I think we're good. Working hard to go forward, but it's like one step forward and two steps back. Aries rising. I like how you said sappy moon. Did you mean Cappy moon or Saggy moon? Saggy moon? And Virgo sun. So we're probably going to go for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to get into the general reading for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and say, if you guys want to put in your questions now. Last call for readings, and then we're going to get into the general reading for everybody who has waited. Thank you guys very much for being patient. It's awesome to see you guys just hanging out in the chat. It's nice to see people be hanging out on a Monday night. Those of you guys who are not in the States, thank you for visiting. It is a holiday weekend for us in America. It's Memorial Day. So usually there's like lots of barbecuing and hanging outside and going to the pool, but we're in here reading tarot cards, so. Those of you guys who are new followers and subscribers, thanks for watching. Make sure that you subscribe so you can see all of my videos that I do on tarot and astrology. I'm doing a couple of videos a week. And I'm also doing a podcast with the Peace Stealer. So if you like my reading style and you want to see me kind of riff with another metaphysical friend, Mike the Peace Stealer, check out the Midheaven podcast. I also just put out all kinds of new goodies on my storefront. So if you check out the Midheaven shop, we'll put a link. We have all kinds of cool astrology and space-related beachwear, summer towels, bags, shirts, hats. Not hats yet. We've got everything but hats. Maybe hats at some point. We'll see. Want to go and make some cool astrology tanks and some other things. So if you're into that stuff, check that out. Leo sun, Leo rising, Virgo moon. It's been 3 years and I feel like my ex's energy is always lingering even though I blocked him. Ruh-roh. Especially with that retrograde. How was that? Emotionally hard times. I feel you on that. I can only tell you. I feel like mutable signs are really kind of getting their butts kicked right now. Sagittarius and Pisces and Gemini and Virgos. You guys are really challenging when Mercury goes retrograde, especially with all these mutable squares. All right. So let's get into the general overall reading. We've got card 1, card 2, and card 3. So if you've been paying attention since earlier on in the stream, this is going to be the general pick a card reading for you guys. So think about your questions, focus your energy, bring your attention to one of these cards. Okay, so here we go. Card number 1. So this is going to give you insight if you're drawn to this card. Card number 1, pick your card. 6 of Coins. Putting focus and emphasis specifically on being able to build together, being able to have more balance in financial matters, balance at work, support from others at work, seeing that things are working together, and just lots of like synergy, you know, people getting along and making headway and seeing all of these things really come together. 6 of Coins can be wonderful for just more peace at the workplace. It can be wonderful for, will this work out? Will that, you know, build into a bright future? Will this be lucrative? Yes. But 6 of Coins puts focus and emphasis on everybody working together. So if this is a question about relationships, it's do your end of the work, let that other person meet you halfway. Don't focus on their stuff, focus on your stuff. If you're building a business, if you're focusing on bringing in more to your work, to your professional life, getting a sale, being able to make a deal, having a merger, work together, there is a need to be able to kind of have everybody do their part and meet in the middle. There can be positive financial changes, there can be better health, there can be better working relationships, there can be physical shifts happening as a result of people putting their heads together and physically working something out. So this would be an overall general yes card with some work, 6 days, 6 months time. This is card number 2 if you were drawn to this card. Here is your answer. 3 of Swords reversed. Moving out of a situation where you have been in pain, experiencing heartbreak. If you are somebody who has recently had a loss, if you are somebody who is going through a separation, if you are somebody who is disappointed, or you're feeling kind of hurt or stabbed in the back, or you're just mourning somebody, you know, the 3 of Swords is a good card to pull. If you have to pull the 3 of Swords, you definitely want to pull it reversed, because you see all the swords are being pulled out of the heart and away from that really sensitive part of the body. When you pull swords out of something like this, obviously that situation is dead. It is done. It is in the past. There is a need to mourn, to bury, to release, to let go, to say goodbye. But in doing so and actually closing that door, what it's going to do is it's going to give you the opportunity for renewal, for healing, for emotional clarity, for being able to bounce back and kind of see that, you know, you can overcome whatever emotional challenge you're dealing with right now. So if you're asking yourself, is it going to pan out? Are things going to get better? Yes, but you have to make certain decisions. You have to have some endings. You have to say no more. This is enough. It stops here. Goodbye. Thank you. I'm good. And you need to walk away. Okay? And then for the final card that we have here, there is a focus and an emphasis. If you've been really staring at this card, if this one's been calling to you, the 5 of Swords reversed. Okay, so this is clearing the air. This is letting the dust settle. This is about not feeling like there's any mental anguish, moving away from conflict, moving away from arguments, not coming at people and reacting. It's about being an actor and not a reactor. Swords always deal with anxiety, mental pursuits, communications, conversations. At a 5, it's usually when nobody's getting along or people aren't hearing each other. It's combative, verbal interactions. Reverse is basically saying, okay, we're going to take a step back. We're going to let, you know, the dust settle. If you have some intense interactions with people, some conflicts, some fights, some difference of opinions, maybe you can't find the middle ground in a contract. Maybe you're having a hard time coming to an agreement. Maybe somebody has said something that's really hurtful or something that rubbed you the wrong way. I do see this kind of clearing up, but I do feel like there is a need to actually take a step back and come up with a new strategy for how you're going to attack the situation or how you're going to handle any future conflicts. It's about forgiving but not forgetting. Also with this card, it's like, you know, paying attention to where there's hiccups, where there's errors, where there's miscommunications. Maybe something was said that really hurt your feelings and that person can't take it back, or you feel like somebody is not allowing you to communicate after you had a disagreement. Let the dust settle. By doing so, I definitely think that this is going to give you the opportunity to come up with a new strategy in how you communicate with other people moving forward. Those of you guys who didn't see my video that I did earlier today, check it out. I talk a lot about the Mercury retrograde and how that energy is kind of manifesting in our lives right now. And I give insight into each of the 12 signs. And it's going to be up all month. So I do that once a month, a general address on the energies that are going to be taking place. It may be helpful because I talk a lot about active listening skills, and that so much of this retrograde is miscommunications and people taking things the wrong way and the tone. So to me, it seems like that can definitely apply to you. So definitely practicing mindfulness and taking your time to really listen and hear people out rather than having conflict or kind of like chomping at the bit to kind of get your 2 cents in. Okay? So I hope that was helpful for you guys. That was fun. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me on a school night. As always, I appreciate all of you guys for coming and hanging out with me and checking in and being supportive of the channel. I look forward to coming back. Hopefully, if you guys like this, I'm going to keep popping in intermittently throughout the month, and I'll do some readings. I also want to do one of these that's not just on tarot. I want to do one that's going to be probably an hour or two of just question and answers for your natal chart. So those of you guys who aren't familiar with my astrology, content, check out the links below. But I will be back soon, and I will be giving you guys more live readings. Until next time, you have a happy and healthy weekend, or, well, rest of the month. And I'll see all of you guys very soon. Take care.